Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we are going to be learning how to draw anime eyes. I think I've done a video on this prior, but things have definitely changed and I wanted to do like an updated version. So to make the video pretty short and simple though, I'm just gonna do two different versions. Obviously one is female, the other one will be male. So hopefully this helps you. Real quick, before we start the tutorial, I do want to throw out there that if you are interested in supporting me, you can support me on Patreon or Ko-fi. So Patreon is where you can donate to me monthly, and depending on how much you give to me, I will give something back to you kind of as a benefit. So if you want to check that out, it will be linked in the description or at the top of the comments. And Ko-fi is kind of similar. Again, I'm still not sure how it completely works, but I'm pretty sure you can donate to me there as well. On top of that, you can also commission me on there. I'm pretty sure my commission prices on there are a little bit cheaper than what they currently are. On top of that, I'm going to be raising my prices, so if you want to kind of get a cheaper deal, just check it out on Ko-fi. And with that being said, let's start the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing that I am going to do though is I'm going to section these, so I'm going to put the first one as female. And obviously, there actually is no, certain way that female eyes are drawn or male eyes. This is just my, I guess, version of that. So if you don't want to necessarily take this part into play or whatever, then you don't have to. Okay, so I just wanted to get that into place so that we kind of know which one is which, and then later on I'm going to do the male version. So starting off, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. We're going to start with these, and I will say ahead of time, I'm not going to be using guidelines. So if you basically can only draw in that way, this video might not be for you, but if you still want to try it out, then, by all means, go ahead. So I basically just go in and I start letting it draw itself. So all we're going to do is we're going to start, I usually start from inside this area and then I bring it out. And as you can see, I'm kind of doing light strokes and I really don't want to make anything official yet. So I'm getting kind of a shape like that in. So this is only one style out of many, by the way, but you want to start off with a sharp point here, and then as you come out, it's going to get obviously thicker, a little bit darker, and there is a slight little curve at the end. Next, I'm just going to go in and put in the eyelid. So usually the eyelid is not going to cover the whole thing, but sometimes it does. Keep that in mind. It really just varies, but for this particular art style, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of a little bit away from where we started here and bring it up and stop about halfway. Obviously next is optional, but I'm going to go ahead and just put in some eyelashes. I'm not going to put a whole lot, just a few. And sometimes there will be some over here as well. As you can see, I'm really trash at eyelashes on traditional art. Even digital art is hard for me as well, but especially traditional. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. Next, we're going to go in and actually start the eyes. So as you know, we're going to mostly do a circle shape. So start from about in here. Then if you want to, you can also come out over here. And you're basically going to bring them together, obviously. And again, it is more of a circle shape. Sometimes there will be a gap right here or over here, basically anywhere over the eye, kind of indicating that there is a light source. Then you can come in next with the bottom part of the eye. And I've noticed sometimes the bottom part doesn't match the length of the top one. Again, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I think the beauty of it is there really doesn't have to be a certain way. Keep in mind, this is like, anime. It doesn't have to be super realistic. And I'm also going to jot in some bottom eyelashes as well. Typically, again, the bottom ones don't have as many as the top. Then the final thing I'm going to do is put in almost like a half moon or a half circle. It kind of is very, simple, but yet at the same time it looks very pleasing. This can be more of like a simple anime art style with, eyes and everything. And if you want to, you can definitely go ahead and shade that, so that is optional. I might do that as well. But for now, I'm going to leave that as it is. And we're gonna start with the next eye. So I'm gonna scooch that over. Now, because I don't use guidelines, unfortunately, I can't flip the canvas and see if it is accurate, so I'm gonna have to do this to the best of my ability. Sometimes I will lightly sketch a little faint line. I know this is a really weird way of doing it, but it kind of makes sure it is lined up for the most part. And apologies if I do sound like utter garbage. I do have a slight cold. I don't think it's anything serious, but I do sound a little bit weird. But going back to the tutorials, so for this one, as you can see, it's smaller. Now, sometimes they're going to be facing the camera, you know, sometimes they'll be facing that way or this way. In this case, they're looking this way. So I'm going to make that obvious by making this one a little bit, again, smaller or squished. Then you're going to see, because she is looking this way, this part of the eye is going to be kind of more looking this way, and I hope that explanation made sense. Also, sometimes turning of the pencil might help, or sorry, the hand. So sometimes I will have to overlap the drawing just a little bit. And like I said, as you can see, I'm really bad at eyelashes on paper and pencil. I don't know why, but it's so hard for me. I'm really not going to worry about that right now. I probably won't worry about it at all, but it does kind of bug me that I can't get them to look pretty. But yeah, back to what I was saying, so I wanted to get those in real quick. So we're going to start from here, and do your best to make sure that everything is lined up. And again, I know that's not necessarily easy, because as you can see, I'm also making mistakes. But because I don't use guidelines, I'm just making sure everything is lined up. And if you want to, you can even try to reverse the image by looking, putting it up to like a light source or like a window. Okay, and the final thing to top this one off is the pupil, which is the same thing as we did over here. For the most part, these are accurate. This one, again, does look a little bit further away, which is obviously the goal. The only other thing I wanted to show is me trying to add some sort of detail in the eye, just to make it, and this is optional, you don't have to, because this is kind of the point of this, you know, style, is it's kind of simple. You don't have to worry about too much of the detail. If you want to participate in this part, I'm going to slightly darken these little shapes. And by adding extra detail, I'm literally just talking about a little bit of shading, so nothing fancy. Okay, but there you have it. There is the female version. This is more of a simple style. Let me know if you want to see more detailed or just more complex. But let's move on to the male version. And I'm going to write that real quick as well. Please don't ask what that was. I don't know. But yeah, let's go on with the male version next. Okay, so for this one, we are going to make them both facing the camera for the most part. So this one is going to be also kind of a simple style, but let's start with the same thing. So just a little line like that. And then as you can see, sometimes I add multiple lines over it. So if you want to try to do that as well, that's up to you. But for this one, we're going to come up with a very slight angle, and then actually it's going to come down, kind of like that. And then you do want to end it with a sharp point like that. And for this one, we're going to make these connect. So once you get that part done, go ahead and bring this part in. Then as you get towards the center again, you want to do the same thing, kind of bring them up together like that. Once you get that done, I'm going to go back in and start darkening a few things, adding a few things like the eyelid. And sometimes I want to start with like a little line and then overlap it. And you can even add just a few little lines everywhere, kind of like creases. It, you know, it kind of just gives it more, you know, detail and whatnot. Then we're gonna come back in, and I'm gonna draw a circle shape like that. And for the pupil, it's literally just gonna be a circle. Once you get that done, you can actually just go right in and shade that. And if you want to, you can just leave that as it is, or you can go further in and add your own sort of personal detail. Then I'm gonna go in next and give him some eyebrows as well, which you don't have to do this, but I think it just kind of brings it together. And that's a really trashy eyebrow, so just ignore that. But yeah, let's go ahead with the other eye. So you don't want to make sure they're too close together, obviously, and you don't want to make them extremely far apart, unless you're just trying to practice, which is fine. But I'm going to try to make it as realistic as possible by making them a relatively accurate distance apart. And I'm going to do my best to recreate what I did over here. So same thing, I like to start with a pointing down little line, and then we just basically go from there. Okay, as you can see, I kind of messed up the eyebrows. I don't fully care if they're even or not. So if you notice that they're uneven, just pretend that they're even, because that's not the point of the tutorial. I would definitely go in and change it and make sure it's accurate. But for the sake of the video, I really just wanted to get in the actual, eye tutorial. If you would like an eyebrow tutorial, by all means, let me know as well. I'm not really the best at them, but I can try to make them look decent if I try. But yeah, there you have it. I really hope this tutorial helped in some way. These are just really simple styles, so if you want a different style altogether, if you want different angles, let me know. I am definitely down to do anything of the sort. But yeah, like I said, if you want to, you can go in and add other sorts of minor details. Sometimes I also like to kind of give it like a little highlight, so basically I'm gonna make sure the eraser is clean, and hopefully I don't mess this up, but yeah, it's really not noticeable, unfortunately, because I think it's the style or the texture of the eraser. But if you have a better quality one, you can actually make a little highlight and it won't look trashy. But yeah, there you have it. Again, I really hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you want to see next down in the comments, and I will be back with another video here very soon. So thank you again for watching. Try to zoom out a little bit.